She pulled him from the path of a speeding car with seconds to spare, her café apron still dusted with coffee grounds, unaware that the man whose life she just saved could buy her entire world with a single signature, and that saving him would be the beginning of losing everything she thought she knew about herself. Destiny arrived for Angelino Johnson at precisely 10:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, disguised as a man too absorbed in his phone to notice the delivery van barreling toward him at 40 miles per hour. She'd been dumping burnt croissants into the bin outside Trevor's cafe, courtesy of their temperamental oven's latest rebellion, when she spotted him. He stood at the curb, one polished shoe already off the pavement, eyes glued to his screen with surgical intensity. The van came around the corner too fast. Her body moved before her brain could catalog all the reasons this was monumentally stupid. Move. She dropped the bin and sprinted, croissants scattering like carbonized confetti. Her shoulder connected with his chest, sending them both tumbling onto the safe side of the pavement. They hit hard. The van's horn blared as it screamed past, close enough that she felt the rush of air, smelled burning rubber. Then silence, the ringing kind that follows near-death experiences. For a moment, neither moved. Angelino found herself sprawled across expensive fabric that smelled like cologne and what her brain unhelpfully identified as rich people. Are you completely insane? The voice beneath her was deep, cultured, furious. She scrambled off. Your welcome would also work, considering I just saved your life. He sat up, and recognition hit her. Harrison Whitfield. Tech billionaire. Magazine cover regular. Currently looking seriously angry. He glanced at his now shattered phone. Do you have any idea? Oh, I'm terribly sorry I interrupted your very important phone time to prevent you becoming a traffic statistic. She brushed dirt from her apron, her hip throbbing. Next time I'll let the van turn you into a very wealthy pancake. Some fury drained from his face. That van was absolutely going to hit you. Physics is quite clear on what happens when fast-moving vehicles meet distracted pedestrians. She bent to retrieve her ruined croissants. But don't let me keep you from whatever terribly important thing you were doing. He stared at her. You're bleeding. She looked at her hands, scraped raw, embedded with gravel. Oh. Fantastic. The adrenaline abandoned her. Her hands shook. Her legs forgot how to work. Sit. He took her elbow, guiding her to a nearby bench, surprisingly gentle. He pulled out an actual handkerchief and began cleaning her wounds. This might sting. His hands were steady, methodical. Expensive hands, but surprisingly gentle ones. I'm sorry, he said quietly. About before. You saved my life, and I was a complete arse. Completely insane was your phrasing, but arse works too. Brave, though. Stupidly brave. That should be my epitaph. A smile tugged at his mouth. Angelino. Like the painter. Like my mother had delusions of grandeur. She watched him work. She wanted me to be something beautiful. Saving strangers from speeding vehicles is fairly beautiful. There was heaviness in his voice, weariness that wealth couldn't disguise. Up close, she saw the lines around his eyes, the shadows beneath them. He wore his wealth like armor, but underneath was something that looked like loneliness. I'm Harrison, by the way. I know. Your face is on half the magazines in London. He grimaced. I hate those photos. You look very serious and important in them. I look like I have a stick up my arse. She laughed. A very expensive stick. Probably mahogany. He actually smiled, and it transformed his face entirely. I should get back to work, she said, though her legs still felt unreliable. My boss is going to kill me. Wait. He pulled out a card. In case you need anything. Medical expenses, or. If you're offering money, don't. I didn't do it for a reward. Just my card. In case you need anything. She backed away, desperate for distance from those storm blue eyes that seemed to see too much. Let's just pretend this never happened. She turned and walked away before he could protest. Behind her, he called out, "Thank you, Angelino." She didn't look back. Trevor was predictably livid about her 23-minute absence. She endured his lecture, cleared tables, and tried to forget about Harrison Whitfield and his careful hands. Except. The door chimed. She looked up and froze. Harrison stood in the doorway, looking absurdly out of place among the chipped tables and faded floors. Behind him, 2 security guards. Every head turned. His eyes found hers. He smiled and started walking toward her. "Oh no," she whispered. This was not pretending it never happened. This was going to be a problem. What would you have done, walked away or taken the card? Drop your thoughts below. Harrison Whitfield navigating Trevor's cafe was like watching a racehorse in a petting zoo, technically possible, wildly inappropriate, distressing for everyone. Every eye tracked his progress. Mrs. Patterson's mouth hung open wide enough to park a car. Trevor emerged from the back, cycled through confusion and recognition, then landed on opportunistic delight. Pound signs materialized in his eyes. "Mr. Whitfield." Trevor rushed forward. "What an honor. Please, let me get you our best table." "Actually," Harrison said smoothly, gaze locked on Angelino, "I'm here to see one of your employees." The cafe's attention swiveled to her like a tennis match. "Angelino?" Trevor's voice climbed an octave. "You know Angelino? She saved my life this morning." Harrison looked at Trevor with cool authority that made him step back. "I've come to properly thank her. Is there somewhere we could talk privately?" Harrison asked her. "I'm working. I'm sure Trevor won't mind sparing you for a few minutes." "Not a question." Polite words with steel underneath. "Of course. Take all the time you need." Trevor vibrated with excitement. Angelino threw her cloth down, perhaps too forcefully, and marched to the back office. The tiny, cluttered space smelled of old coffee and aggressive air freshener. Harrison filled the doorway, making it feel shoebox-sized. "Your security can wait outside," she said pointedly. He gestured them away, closed the door. The oxygen supply immediately felt insufficient. "Before you say anything," she started. "I'm offering you a job." She blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" "A job. Executive assistant at Whitfield Technologies. Starting salary £80,000 annually, full benefits, company car." "Stop." She held up her scraped palms. "What are you doing?" "Offering you a job. You don't even know me. I know you're quick thinking, courageous, willing to act when others freeze." He ticked off points. "Not intimidated by authority, you've spoken to me more frankly than anyone in months. And you're wasted here, clearing tables for a man who doesn't appreciate you. You got all that from me tackling you? From watching you for 5 minutes. How you carry yourself. How you spoke to your boss. How you looked at that table like you were already somewhere else." His expression softened. "I looked you up. I know about your mother. The medical bills. Working 2 jobs, barely making rent. Cold discomfort settled in her stomach. You investigated me. I made inquiries. I needed to know who you were. That's invasive. Probably. I'm not good at normal social interactions. I approach everything like a business transaction, which I'm told is off-putting. You think? But my offer is genuine. I need someone I can trust. You proved you act without agenda or personal gain. That's rare. Valuable." Angelino sank into Trevor's chair. "This is too much. Take tonight to think about it." He placed his card on the desk. "My personal number. Call by tomorrow morning. And if I say no? I'll respect that. Leave you alone. He moved to the door, paused. But I hope you'll say yes. I think you're exactly what I've been looking for. Even if I wasn't looking. Then he was gone, leaving her alone with a business card that might be a winning lottery ticket or a live grenade. Her shift blurred past whispered questions and speculative looks. Trevor went from hostile to fawning, which was more unsettling than his anger. That evening, her flatmates had opinions. £80,000. Keisha shouted. Plus benefits. This man shows up and offers you a job after 1 hour. Naomi countered. That's weird. Suspicious. It's romantic. Keisha argued. Could you not debate my life crisis like it's Netflix? Angelino drained her wine. Real talk, Naomi softened. What do you want? She wanted her mum to get better. Wanted to stop drowning, stop living paycheck to paycheck. Wanted life to be something she participated in rather than something that happened to her. But she also wanted, she thought about Harrison's storm blue eyes, his careful hands, his rare smile. I don't know, she admitted. What if this is my chance? What if I say no and wonder forever? Her phone buzzed. Harrison, I forgot to mention, 6-month probation period. If it doesn't work out, no hard feelings. No risk. Just an opportunity. Think about it. 6 months, Naomi said. That's reasonable. If it's terrible, you leave. With 40,000 saved, Keisha added. Life-changing money. I think I'm going to say yes, Angelino heard herself say. Then we support you, Naomi said firmly. But if he's a creep, I'm slashing his tires. Angelino typed before second-guessing, I accept. When do I start? The reply came instantly, Monday. 9 a.m. I'll send a car. Thank you, Angelino. You won't regret this. She'd just agreed to upend her life for a man she'd known for 12 hours. This was either the best decision she'd ever made, or the most spectacular disaster yet. Given her luck, probably the latter. But for once, she'd hoped for the former. The car that arrived Monday morning was obscene. Angelino stood on the pavement in her charity shop blazer and almost fitting trousers, staring at the gleaming black Mercedes like it might bite her. The driver, older, kind-eyed, properly uniformed, opened the door. Miss Johnson. That's me. Unfortunately. He smiled. Mr. Whitfield is expecting you. The interior smelled like leather and money. She sat rigidly, afraid to breathe wrong. London passed by tinted windows, her city, suddenly unfamiliar from this angle. She'd always experienced it from buses and the tube, pressed against strangers. This was different. This was how the other half lived. Naomi texted, don't forget you're amazing. Also if there's a private bathroom, steal the expensive soap. The Whitfield Technologies building was glass and steel, reaching toward the sky like it wanted to escape London entirely. Angelino's reflection in the polished lobby floor looked small and terrified. Miss Johnson. A woman approached, mid-40s, immaculate suit, expression suggesting she'd perfected being unimpressed. Patricia Hendricks, Senior Operations Manager. I'll be showing you around. Nice to meet you. Patricia's handshake was firm and slightly threatening. Let's be clear. I don't know why Mr. Whitfield hired you, and I don't care. What I care about is that you don't embarrass him or this company. Understood? Completely. Good. Follow me. The next hour blurred, security badges, paperwork, increasingly complicated system explanations she didn't understand. Her office, her actual office, was next to Harrison's, all windows and minimalist furniture that probably cost more than her flat's annual rent. Mr. Whitfield will see you at 10, Patricia said crisply. Don't be late. He values punctuality. Then she was gone, and Angelino was alone in her impossible office, wondering what the hell she'd done. At precisely 10, she knocked on Harrison's door. "Come in." He sat behind a desk that looked like a spaceship, surrounded by monitors displaying incomprehensible information. But he looked up, and his expression softened. "Angelino." "Good morning." "Mr. Whitfield." "Harrison," he corrected gently. "Please. Mr. Whitfield makes me feel ancient." "You're not ancient." "What, 35? 36. But thank you for the generosity." He stood, moved around the desk. Today's suit was charcoal gray, perfectly tailored. "How are you settling in?" "Patricia hates me." He laughed, actual laughter that transformed his face. "Patricia hates everyone on principle. Nothing personal." Oddly comforting. "I wanted to say," he paused, searching for words. "I know this is overwhelming. If you need anything, have questions, you can ask me. That's what I'm here for. I thought I was here to assist you. It goes both ways." His eyes met hers, warmth and sincerity making her breath catch. "We're partners in this, Angelino. Not employer and employee. Partners." She nodded, not trusting her voice. "Now," he said, shifting to business, "let me show you what an executive assistant actually does. Fair warning, it's mostly organized chaos and strategic coffee management. I work in a café. I'm excellent at strategic coffee management." He grinned. "Then we're going to get along perfectly." Despite everything, Patricia's hostility, her own inadequacy, the sheer impossibility, Angelino grinned back. The morning passed in a whirlwind of calendar management, email protocols, and Harrison patiently explaining systems she'd never encountered. He was surprisingly good at teaching, breaking complex processes into manageable pieces, never making her feel stupid for asking questions. Around noon, Patricia appeared with lunch, some elaborate salad situation that looked like it cost more than Angelino's weekly grocery budget. "Mr. Whitfield, the Chen meeting is in 30 minutes, Patricia said, pointedly ignoring Angelino. "Thank you, Patricia. Angelino will be joining me." Patricia's eye twitched. "She will. She's my executive assistant. She should understand how these meetings work." Harrison's tone was pleasant but final. After Patricia left, Angelino whispered, "She's definitely going to murder me in my sleep." "Probably. But I'll make sure you get a lovely funeral." He smiled. "Ready for your first meeting? Try not to fall asleep. Venture capitalists are remarkably boring. No promises." But as they walked to the conference room, Angelino felt something unexpected, excitement. Maybe, just maybe, she could actually do this. Maybe she belonged here after all. 3 weeks in, and Angelino had learned several important things about working for Harrison Whitfield. First, the man survived on approximately 4 hours of sleep and caffeine that could strip paint. Second, his calendar was a Tetris game designed by a sadist. Third, he had exactly 3 expressions for dealing with incompetence: mild disappointment, profound disappointment, and the one that made grown executives cry. Fourth, and most problematic, she was developing feelings for her boss. It started small. The way he said, "Good morning," like he actually meant it. How he remembered she took her tea with too much sugar and always had a cup waiting. The rare moments when his serious facade cracked and he laughed, really laughed, at something ridiculous she'd said. It was becoming a problem. Earth to Angelino. Harrison waved a hand in front of her face. They were in his office, supposedly reviewing quarterly projections, but she'd been staring at the same spreadsheet for 10 minutes. "Where'd you go?" "Sorry. Just thinking." "About?" He leaned back in his chair, studying her with those storm blue eyes that saw entirely too much. "About how your smile does illegal things to my heart rate." About how Patricia still looks at me like I murdered her cat. He laughed. Give her time. She's warming up to you. Harrison, yesterday she told me my filing system was an affront to organizational logic. See? A month ago she wouldn't have spoken to you at all. Progress. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mum's nurse, your mother's asking for you. Nothing urgent, just missing her girl. The guilt hit like always, sharp and immediate. Here she was, in this pristine office, making more money than she'd ever imagined, while her mum was stuck in that tiny hospital room. Everything okay? Harrison's voice had shifted, concerned with replacing levity. Fine. Just my mum's nurse. How is she? Your mother. The same. Which is better than worse, I suppose. She set her phone down. The new medication isn't working like they'd hoped. Harrison was quiet for a moment. Then, what if she saw a specialist? There's a doctor I know, Dr. Catherine Reed, one of the best neurologists in London. I could arrange a consultation. Harrison, no. I can't. You're not asking. I'm offering. He leaned forward, intensity radiating from him. Please, Angelino. Let me help. This isn't part of my job description. No. It's part of being your friend. The word landed between them, significant and terrifying. We are friends, aren't we? Friends. Right. Friends were safe. Friends didn't involve the complicated feelings currently staging a revolt in her chest. Yes, she managed. Friends. Then let your friend help your mother. His expression softened. Please. How could she say no to that face? Okay. Thank you. His smile could have powered the entire building. Good. I'll make the arrangements. The phone on his desk rang, the red one, which meant an important person calling. Harrison answered, his expression immediately shifting to business mode. Jeffrey. Yes, I received your proposal. His tone went cool. And I'm afraid my answer hasn't changed. Whitfield Technologies isn't interested in a merger. Angelino gathered her tablet, preparing to give him privacy, but he gestured for her to stay. I understand your position, Harrison continued, but the answer is still no. My company isn't for sale. A pause. I don't care if the board thinks otherwise. The board works for me, not the reverse. He ended the call with more force than necessary. Problem? Angelino asked. Jeffrey Ashton. Been trying to acquire my company for 2 years. Refuses to understand the concept of no. He rubbed his temples. Sometimes I wonder why I started this company. The politics, the constant pressure, people treating everything like it's only about money. Why did you start the company, I mean? He looked at her, something vulnerable flickering across his face. Because I wanted to build something that mattered. Something that wasn't just my father's empire rebranded. He laughed, bitter. Naive, probably. Not naive. Human. You think I'm human? Patricia would disagree. Pretty sure she thinks I'm a robot programmed to generate profit. You're definitely human. The words came out softer than intended. Trust me. Their eyes met, and something shifted in the air between them, a charge, a possibility. Harrison opened his mouth to speak. Patricia burst through the door. Mr. Whitfield, the Ashton situation, she stopped, taking in the scene. Her eyes narrowed fractionally. Am I interrupting? No, Harrison said quickly. Too quickly. Just finishing up. What about Ashton? As Patricia launched into corporate strategy, Angelino excused herself, her heart doing complicated acrobatics. Friends, she reminded herself firmly. Just friends. But her traitorous heart wasn't listening. That evening, Naomi took one look at her face and poured wine. You're falling for him. I am not. You absolutely are. You've got that look. The doomed look. There's no look. There's definitely a look. Keisha appeared, stealing Angelino's wine. The question is, does he feel the same way? It doesn't matter. He's my boss. This is my job. I can't jeopardize everything for feelings. But what if, Keisha started. No what ifs. Angelino reclaimed her wine. This is a complication I cannot afford. But later, alone in her room, she couldn't stop thinking about the way Harrison had looked at her. The vulnerability in his voice. The word friend that felt simultaneously safe and devastating. This was definitely going to be a problem. Absolutely not. Angelino. No. Nope. Not happening. She crossed her arms, glaring at Harrison across his desk. I'm your assistant, not your date. It's not a date. It's a work function. He had the audacity to look amused. I need someone there who'll tell me when I'm being insufferable. Patricia would encourage it. Then take Patricia. Patricia has plans. Besides, you're better company. He slid an envelope across the desk. Black tie. Saturday night. Please. She opened the envelope. The invitation was embossed gold on cream paper, the annual Tech Innovation Gala. The kind of event that appeared in society pages. I don't own anything appropriate for this. Take the company card. Buy something. Before she could protest, he added, it's a work expense. You're representing Whitfield Technologies. This is manipulation. This is desperation. I can't face these people alone, Angelino. They're exhausting. His expression turned genuine, vulnerable. Please. I'll owe you. Damn him and his vulnerable face. Fine. But you're buying me the expensive champagne. His smile was worth capitulating. Deal. Saturday evening, Angelino stood in front of her mirror, barely recognizing herself. The dress was midnight blue, simple but elegant, and had cost more than her first car. Her hair was styled, her makeup perfect. Keisha had insisted on helping, treating it like a military operation. You look like a princess, Keisha breathed. I look like I'm playing dress up. You look like you belong. Naomi squeezed her shoulder. Go show those rich people what you're made of. The car arrived. The same driver, Thomas, who smiled warmly. Miss Johnson. You look lovely. Thank you, Thomas. I feel like an imposter. Confidence is just pretending until it's real. You'll be fine. The gala was at some historic hotel with marble columns and chandeliers that cost more than houses. Angelino's heels clicked on polished floors as she entered, clutching her small purse like a lifeline. And then she saw him. Harrison stood near the bar, devastating in a tuxedo that should be illegal. He was talking to someone, looking politely bored, until he saw her. His expression transformed. He excused himself and crossed the room like it contained only her. Angelino. His voice was rough. You look uncomfortable. Beautiful. The word hung between them, significant and dangerous. You look beautiful. Her heart forgot how to function properly. You clean up okay yourself. He offered his arm. Ready to face the wolves. As ready as I'll ever be. The next hour was a blur of introductions, names she'd never remember, faces that blurred together. Harrison kept her close, his hand occasionally touching her back, guiding her through conversations. Each touch sent electricity through her. And this must be the famous Angelino, a voice purred. A woman appeared, tall, blonde, perfect. Everything Angelino wasn't. Harrison's spoken about you. He has. Angelino glanced at Harrison, who looked distinctly uncomfortable. "I'm Vivian Ashton. Jeffrey's daughter." Her smile was sharp. How fascinating that Harrison hired someone so unconventional. The insult was wrapped in silk, but it was still an insult. "Unconventional is just another word for interesting," Angelino said sweetly. "Conventional is boring." Vivian's smile tightened. "How quaint. Harrison, we should discuss the merger proposal. Privately." "There's nothing to discuss. My answer hasn't changed. Daddy thinks you're being stubborn. He can be very persuasive." Her hand landed on Harrison's arm, possessive. "We've known each other forever, darling. Surely that counts for something." "It counts for a polite refusal instead of hanging up." Harrison removed her hand. "If you'll excuse us." He guided Angelino away, tension radiating from him. "Ex-girlfriend?" she asked when they were alone. "Thankfully, no. Just someone who refuses to understand boundaries." He grabbed 2 champagne flutes from a passing waiter, and handed her one. "Sorry. These events bring out the worst in people. She called me unconventional." "You are unconventional. That's why I like you." He clinked his glass against hers. "To be unconventional. To survive rich people." They drank, and something shifted between them, the pretense falling away, leaving just them. Harrison and Angelino, not employer and employee. "Dance with me," he said suddenly. "What?" "Dance with me. Before someone else demands my attention, I have to be polite." He led her to the dance floor, one hand settling at her waist, the other taking hers. They moved together, and the rest of the room faded. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For being here. For putting up with all this. It's not so bad. The champagne is excellent." He laughed, and she felt it rumble through his chest. They were close, closer than appropriate. His cologne surrounded her, his warmth seeping into her skin. Angelino, his voice was rough, his eyes intense. "I need to tell you something." Her heart hammered. "What?" "These past weeks, working with you, you've changed everything. You make me remember why I started this company." "Why does any of it matter?" His thumb traced circles on her waist. "You make me want." Harrison Whitfield. A booming voice interrupted. A man appeared, older, self-important. "We need to discuss the quarterly reports." The moment shattered. Harrison's expression shuddered, the businessman sliding back into place. "Of course. Angelino, excuse me for just a moment." He was pulled away into business discussions, leaving her alone on the dance floor, her heart racing, his unfinished words hanging in the air. "You make me want." Want what? She was afraid to know. Afraid not to. This was becoming more than a complication. This was becoming everything. The article appeared Tuesday morning, splashed across every tabloid and gossip site in London. Tech billionaire's Cinderella, Harrison Whitfield's mysterious new romance. Below it, a photo from the gala, Harrison and Angelino dancing, looking at each other with unmistakable intensity. Her hand on his shoulder, his at her waist. The caption read, "From café worker to billionaire's girlfriend, the ultimate rags to riches romance." Angelino stared at her phone screen in horror as Naomi forwarded link after link. "This is bad," she whispered. "This is a disaster," Naomi corrected. "Have you talked to him?" "Not yet. Her phone rang. "Harrison. I have to go." She answered, hands shaking. "Harrison. Don't come to the office." His voice was tight, controlled. "There are photographers everywhere. I'm sending Thomas to bring you through the private entrance." "Harrison, I'm so sorry. This isn't your fault. I'll see you soon. We'll figure this out." The ride to Whitfield Technologies felt like traveling to an execution. Thomas tried to be comforting, but Angelino could barely hear him over the roaring in her ears. The private entrance led directly to Harrison's floor. Patricia was waiting, her expression glacial. Mr. Whitfield is dealing with the board. They're not pleased. Her tone suggested Angelino had personally burned down the building. You've created quite the situation. I didn't create anything. Someone took a photo. A photo that makes this company look unprofessional. Mr. Whitfield has a reputation to maintain. Patricia's eyes were cold. Perhaps it would be best if you tendered your resignation. We'll provide an excellent reference, of course. You're firing me? I'm offering you a dignified exit before this becomes messy. No. Harrison's voice cut through the tension. He stood in his office doorway, fury radiating from every line of his body. Patricia, a word. Now. They disappeared into his office. Raised voices filtered through, Harrison's controlled anger, Patricia's clipped responses. Finally, Patricia emerged, face flushed, and swept past Angelino without a word. Come in, Harrison called. His office was chaotic, newspapers scattered across his desk, his phone ringing constantly, ignored. He looked exhausted. I'm sorry, Angelino said immediately. I'll resign. I'll fix this. You'll do no such thing. He moved toward her. This is my fault. I should have been more careful. I know how these vultures operate. Your board is angry. My board can go to hell. He ran a hand through his hair. Though they are demanding explanations. Investors are nervous about personal complications affecting professional judgment. Then let me leave. It'll calm everything down. I don't want you to leave. The words were fierce, desperate. Angelino, I don't want you to leave. But your company can survive scandal. What I can't survive is, he stopped, jaw clenched. The board is demanding I make a choice. Clarify our relationship or remove you from your position. The room felt airless. What are you saying? I'm saying what I was trying to tell you at the gala. He stepped closer. These past months, you've become more than my assistant. More than my friend. You've become the best part of my day. The reason I smile. The person I want to tell everything to. Her heart was in her throat. Harrison. I'm falling for you, Angelino. I've been falling since you tackled me on that street corner. And I know this is complicated, I know I'm your employer and this could ruin everything, but I can't, his voice broke. I can't pretend anymore. The world tilted. Everything she'd felt, everything she tried to suppress, came flooding back. I'm falling for you too, she whispered. God help me, I'm completely falling for you. His hands came up to cup her face, tender and reverent. Then we'll figure this out. Together. I'll handle the board, the investors, all of it. If you want this. If you want. I want you. The admission felt like jumping off a cliff. I want this. Even if it's insane. He kissed her then, soft and sweet and full of promise. The world outside with its cameras and scandals and disapproving boards faded to nothing. There was only this, Harrison's hands gentle on her face, his heart beating against hers, the taste of hope and possibility. When they broke apart, both breathless, he rested his forehead against hers. We'll make this work, he murmured. I promise. She wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe that love could overcome wealth disparity and public scrutiny in corporate politics. But the phone on his desk rang, the red one, and reality came crashing back. Harrison answered, listened, his expression darkening. I see. Thank you for the warning. He hung up, jaw tight. That was my lawyer. Jeffrey Ashton is using this scandal to push his merger agenda. He's convinced half the board that I'm too distracted to lead effectively. Then we stop this. Now. Angelino stepped back, heartbreaking. We tell everyone it was a misunderstanding. That we're not together. No. His hand caught hers. I'm not losing you because Jeffrey Ashton wants my company. We fight this. Together. How? His smile was dangerous. By showing them exactly what we're made of. The emergency board meeting was scheduled for Friday. 3 days to prepare for war. Harrison threw himself into strategy with the same intensity he brought to everything. Late nights in his office, phone calls with lawyers, reviewing corporate bylaws looking for leverage. Angelino stayed by his side, learning the intricate dance of corporate politics. Jeffrey has 5 board members on his side, Harrison explained, as charts spread across his desk. I have 4 loyal votes. 3 are undecided. We need at least 2 of them. What's his argument? That I'm compromised. That a romantic relationship with an employee shows poor judgment. That the company needs stable leadership. His voice dripped with sarcasm. Stable, meaning controllable. And our counterargument? That my personal life has zero impact on company performance. That profits are up 30% since you started. That Jeffrey's just using this as an excuse to force a hostile takeover. He looked at her. That what we have is real, not scandalous. The vulnerability in his voice undid her. We'll win this. You're very confident for someone who's known about corporate politics for approximately 72 hours. I'm confident because I've watched you work. You don't lose, Harrison. It's not in your DNA. He pulled her close, kissed her temple. What did I do to deserve you? Stood in front of a speeding van, apparently. His laugh was exhausted but genuine. Wednesday, Dr. Reed examined Angelino's mother. The specialist Harrison had arranged, brilliant, kind, and optimistic about new treatment options. There's a procedure, Dr. Reed explained. Experimental, but showing promising results. I think your mother's an excellent candidate. How much? Angelino asked, already calculating impossible numbers. It's covered. Mr. Whitfield arranged everything. Later, in the hospital corridor, Angelino confronted him. Harrison, you can't keep doing this. Doing what? Helping people I care about. Throwing money at my problems. It's not throwing money. It's using my resources to help someone who matters to me. His hands found hers. Your happiness matters to me, Angelino. Your mother's health matters to me. Let me help. This is too much. It's not enough. His intensity was overwhelming. Don't you understand? Nothing I could give you would be enough to match what you've given me. I haven't given you anything. You've given me everything. His thumb traced her cheek. You've given me a reason to fight for something beyond profit margins and stock prices. You've reminded me what matters. She kissed him there in the hospital corridor, not caring who saw, pouring everything into it, gratitude and love and desperate hope. Thursday night, Vivian Ashton appeared at Harrison's office unannounced. We need to talk, she said, ignoring Angelino's presence. Privately. Anything you say to me, you can say in front of Angelino. Vivian's smile was predatory. Very well. Daddy's offering one final compromise. Merge the companies, let him run operations, and he'll drop the leadership challenge. You keep your title, your salary, your reputation intact. And if I refuse? Then tomorrow, the board votes you out. You lose everything. She glanced at Angelino dismissively. Is she really worth destroying everything you've built? Yes. Harrison's answer was immediate, absolute. She's worth everything. Vivian's expression hardened. Then you're a fool. Daddy always wins, Harrison. Always. After she left, Angelino felt the weight of it crushing her. Maybe you should consider it. The merger. Your company. It's just a company. He turned her to face him. You're not just anything. You're everything. And I won't sacrifice you for Jeffrey Ashton's empire building. But if you lose, then I lose. And we'll figure out what comes next. Together. His eyes were fierce, certain. I'd rather have nothing with you than everything without you. The words should have been romantic. Instead, they felt terrifying, too much pressure, too much responsibility. If he lost his company because of her. Don't, he said softly, reading her face. Don't take this on yourself. This is Jeffrey's doing, not yours. Not ours. But she couldn't shake the fear that loving him would cost him everything. Friday morning arrived too quickly. The boardroom was intimidating, long table, leather chairs, walls of windows overlooking London. 11 board members, faces ranging from sympathetic to hostile. Jeffrey Ashton sat at the far end, smiling satisfied and smug. Harrison stood, Angelino beside him. He'd insisted she be present. Gentlemen, ladies, Harrison began. I understand there are concerns about my leadership. Let's address them directly. For the next hour, he systematically dismantled every argument. Presented performance data, growth projections, testimonials from key clients. His voice was controlled, authoritative, brilliant. Then Jeffrey stood. Very impressive, Harrison. But you've avoided the central issue, your relationship with an employee. The impropriety. The liability. There's no impropriety. I'm in a relationship with a remarkable woman who happens to work for me. We've been transparent, professional. She was a café worker weeks ago. Now she's your assistant and your girlfriend. How is that not using your position to? To what? Angelino's voice cut through the room. She stood, heart hammering. To take advantage. I pursued this job. I accepted it freely. And yes, we developed feelings for each other. That's called being human, not being improper. Miss Johnson, Jeffrey's tone was condescending. I'm not finished. Her voice strengthened. You want to paint Harrison as distracted or compromised. But I've watched him work. He's brilliant, dedicated, and ethical. The only person trying to manipulate this company is you, Mr. Ashton. Silence. Then one of the undecided board members, an older woman named Margaret Chen, spoke. She's right. This isn't about leadership concerns. It's about a hostile takeover attempt. She looked around the table. I vote to retain Mr. Whitfield as CEO. Another undecided member nodded. Agreed. Motion to dismiss the challenge. The vote was 8-3. Harrison retained his position. Jeffrey's face went purple with rage. As the room emptied, Harrison pulled Angelino into his arms, not caring about propriety or witnesses. You were magnificent, he whispered. We won. We won. But outside the windows, cameras flashed. The real battle, public opinion, media scrutiny, was just beginning. The victory lasted exactly 48 hours before everything fell apart. Monday morning, a new story broke. Whitfield's fraud. Did Billionaire create fake job for lover? The article claimed Harrison had invented her position, that she had no real qualifications, that the entire hiring was a scheme to funnel company money to his girlfriend. Anonymous sources, clearly Jeffrey's people, provided damning quotes about financial impropriety and abuse of power. The board reconvened. Investors demanded answers. Stock prices dropped 15% in 3 hours. This is coordinated, Harrison's lawyer explained. Ashton's weaponizing the media. He couldn't win legitimately, so he's destroying your reputation. Then we fight back. Issue a statement. A statement won't help if they investigate the financials. The lawyer's expression was grim. If the board demands an audit and finds anything questionable, even your legitimate expenses for Miss Johnson's mother's treatment, it could look like embezzlement. Angelino felt sick. The medical bills. He used company funds. Personal funds, Harrison corrected quickly. But they'll twist it. Make it look improper. Then I'm resigning. She stood, decision made. Effective immediately. I'll give a statement saying you had nothing to do with the medical expenses, that I pressured you. No. Harrison's voice was steel. I won't let you fall on your sword for me. Your company is imploding because of me. It's imploding because Jeffrey Ashton is a vindictive bastard who can't accept losing. He grabbed her shoulders. Don't you dare blame yourself. But. His phone rang. Patricia. Mr. Whitfield, you need to see this. The new article was worse. Photos of Angelino's flat, her previous jobs, interviews with Trevor calling her unremarkable and barely competent. The narrative was clear: gold digger seduces naive billionaire, ruins his empire. Angelino's phone exploded with messages. Friends from her old life, curious and cruel. Strangers on social media dissecting her appearance, her background, her worth. The comments were vicious, ugly, trashy, gold-digging slag. I can't do this, she whispered. Harrison, I can't. Yes, you can. We can. He pulled her close, but she felt him trembling too. The pressure was crushing them both. That evening, her mother called from the hospital. Sweetheart, I'm seeing all these terrible things online. Are you okay? I'm fine, Mum. The lie tasted bitter. If this man is hurting you. He's not. He's wonderful. It's just, complicated. Then uncomplicated. Her mother's voice was weak but firm. Life's too short for misery, baby. If he makes you happy, fight for it. If he doesn't, leave. But don't stay in limbo because of what strangers think. After they hung up, Angelino found Harrison on his penthouse balcony, staring at London's lights. I've made a decision, he said quietly. I'm stepping down as CEO. What? No. It's the only way to save the company. Jeffrey wins, but Whitfield Technologies survives. The employees keep their jobs. The investors don't lose everything. His voice was hollow. It's the responsible choice. It's the coward's choice. The words came out harsh, angry. You're letting him win. I'm protecting what matters. By sacrificing yourself. By letting that monster take everything you built. Better than watching you be destroyed by association. His composure cracked. Do you know what they're saying about you? What are they doing? I can't watch them tear you apart, Angelino. I can't. So you'll just give up. Walk away. I'm trying to protect you. I don't need protection. I need you to fight. Tears streamed down her face. I need you to believe we're worth fighting for. Of course you're worth fighting for. Then prove it. She was shouting now, months of fear and pressure exploding. Stop trying to be noble and start trying to win. I didn't fall in love with someone who surrenders. The words hung between them. Love. She'd said it. Finally, truthfully. Harrison stared at her, something breaking and reforming in his expression. You love me. Of course I love you, you idiot. Why else would I endure all this? He crossed the space between them in 2 strides, kissing her desperately. I love you. God, Angelino, I love you so much. Then fight for us. Please. He pulled back, jaw set with new determination. Okay. But not like this. Not playing Jeffrey's game. His eyes sparked with something dangerous. We're going to play mine. What are you thinking? I'm thinking it's time to remind everyone exactly who they're dealing with. His smile was sharp, calculated. Jeffrey wants a war. Let's give him one. Over the next 2 days, Harrison worked like a man possessed. Phone calls to journalists, meetings with former colleagues, digging through Jeffrey's business history. Angelino helped, learning the art of strategic information warfare. Wednesday evening, the counterattack launched. A tell-all article in the Financial Times, The Real Jeffrey Ashton, A History of Hostile Takeovers and Destroyed Lives. Former business partners revealed his pattern of manipulation, false accusations, and corporate sabotage. Companies he'd destroyed. People he'd ruined. Within hours, Jeffrey's reputation was in tatters. The board received documentation of his attempted fraud, evidence Harrison's team had uncovered of Jeffrey falsifying the anonymous sources, paying journalists for hit pieces. By Friday, Jeffrey Ashton resigned from the board under threat of legal action. Vivian issued a terse statement distancing herself from her father's regrettable tactics. Harrison's reputation was salvaged. Stock prices rebounded. The media narrative shifted, from scandal to underdog triumph. But the victory felt hollow. Angelino saw the toll it had taken, the exhaustion in Harrison's eyes, the weight he now carried. They'd won, but at what cost? Is it always going to be like this? She asked that night, curled against him on his sofa. Fighting battles, dealing with people trying to tear us apart. Probably. He kissed her hair. My world isn't kind to happiness. It sees it as a weakness to exploit. Maybe I don't belong in your world. Maybe my world doesn't deserve you. He tilted her face up. But I'm selfish enough to want you anyway. If you'll stay. She thought about her old life, simple, small, safe. Then looked at this man who'd risked everything for her. I'll stay, she whispered. For however long you'll have me. Then forever might not be long enough. 6 months later, Angelino stood in front of the bathroom mirror, staring at a positive pregnancy test and trying to remember how to breathe. This is not happening, she whispered. This cannot be happening. They'd been careful. Mostly careful. Except for that weekend in Paris when careful had seemed less important than desperate need and champagne-fueled spontaneity. Apparently, champagne had consequences. Her phone buzzed. Harrison, running late. The board meeting went long. Dinner at 8. She typed back, we need to talk. 3 dots appeared immediately. Is everything okay? Fine. Just, we need to talk. She'd expected panic. Instead, when she told him that evening, sitting in his penthouse, the city glittering below, his face transformed into something like wonder. You're pregnant. I know this wasn't planned. I know the timing is terrible with the company expansion and everything with Jeffrey barely settled. Angelino. He took her hands, eyes bright. Are you okay with this? Is this something you want? The question stopped her spiral. Was it something she wanted? She thought about her mom, getting stronger every day thanks to Dr. Reed's treatment. About Naomi and Keisha, who'd become more than flatmates, family. About this man who turned her life upside down in the best possible way. Yes, she realized. Yes, I want this. His smile was incandescent. Then we're having a baby. You're not upset. Upset? Angelino, you've just told me we're creating a life together. How could I possibly be upset? He pulled her close. Terrified, yes. Completely unprepared, absolutely. But upset? Never. She laughed, tears streaming. We're insane. We've always been insane. Why stop now? The pregnancy wasn't easy. Morning sickness that lasted all day. Exhaustion that made working challenging. But Harrison was relentless in his support, adjusting her schedule, hiring additional staff, threatening to fire anyone who made her uncomfortable. You can't fire people for existing near me, she protested after he'd nearly dismissed a junior analyst for wearing strong cologne. Watch me. Patricia, surprisingly, became an unlikely ally. I have 3 children, she informed Angelino stiffly. If you need anything, you'll ask. It wasn't exactly warm, but it was close enough. The media, predictably, had a field day. Billionaire baby. Whitfield and Johnson expecting. But this time, the coverage was mostly positive, a fairy tale ending to their tumultuous story. Jeffrey Ashton sent a gift basket. Harrison threw it in the bin unopened. Vindictive? Angelino asked. Absolutely. Her mother cried happy tears, already planning nurseries. Naomi and Keisha threw a baby shower that was equal parts touching and chaotic, involving an obscene number of tiny clothes and Keisha's insistence on playing a game called Guess the Baby Food that traumatized everyone. This is your family, Harrison said, watching the chaos with bemused affection. This beautiful, ridiculous family. Our family, she corrected. 8 months later, at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, because of course it was a Tuesday, Angelino went into labor. Harrison, who'd faced down hostile board members and corporate raiders without flinching, turned absolutely useless. Okay. We practiced this. I have the bag. Where's the bag? Angelino, where's the bag? You're holding it, you absolute muppet. Right. Car. We need the car. Thomas is asleep because it's 3 a.m. You're driving. I can't drive. I'm too nervous. What if I crash? What if? Harrison Whitfield, get me to the hospital or I swear to God. He drove. Badly. But they arrived intact. 14 hours later, 14 hours of pain and cursing and Harrison holding her hand while she threatened his life, their daughter entered the world. She was tiny, red, screaming, and absolutely perfect. She has your nose, Angelino whispered, exhausted and elated. She has your fighting spirit. She's been here 5 minutes and already demanding things. Harrison's voice was thick with tears. She's perfect. What should we name her? They'd discussed names for months, never agreeing. But looking at this tiny human they'd created, the answer was obvious. Hope, Angelino said. Her name is Hope. Because that's what their daughter represented, hope that love could overcome impossible odds, that 2 people from different worlds could build something beautiful together. 1 year later, at Hope's first birthday party, Angelino watched Harrison chase their daughter around the garden of the house they'd bought in Hampstead. Hope shrieked with laughter, Harrison making exaggerated monster noises, both of them covered in cake frosting. Never thought I'd see the day, Patricia commented, appearing beside her with champagne. Harrison Whitfield, brought to his knees by a 1-year-old. She has that effect. Angelino smiled. Though to be fair, I brought him to his knees first. You did. Patricia's expression softened, actual warmth. I was wrong about you. You're exactly what he needed. Was that an apology? Don't push it. Her mum arrived with Naomi and Keisha, arms full of more presents. We couldn't help ourselves. The garden filled with laughter and love, Harrison's colleagues, Angelino's friends, Hope's godparents, the family they'd built from impossible circumstances. That evening, after everyone left and Hope finally slept, Harrison found Angelino on the terrace overlooking their garden. Tired? He asked, wrapping arms around her from behind. Exhausted. Happy. Good combination. He kissed her neck. I've been thinking. Dangerous. I want to marry you. She turned in his arms. Harrison. I know we said we didn't need paper to prove anything. But I want the world to know you're mine and I'm yours. Officially, legally, permanently. He pulled out a ring, simple, elegant, perfect. Angelino Johnson, will you marry me? She looked at this man who'd crashed into her life 2 years ago, who'd given her everything, who'd fought for them when the world tried to tear them apart. Yes, she whispered. Yes, absolutely yes. He slid the ring on her finger, kissed her like she was precious and irreplaceable, because she was. 2 years ago, she'd been serving coffee and burning croissants, convinced life had passed her by. Now she had a family, a future, and a love that defied every odd stacked against it. What are you thinking? Harrison asked. I'm thinking about that Tuesday. When I tackled you. Best tackle of my life. Mine too. She kissed him again, deeper. Thank you. For what? For being worth saving. No, love. His eyes were soft, infinite. Thank you for saving me. And under the stars, surrounded by the life they'd built together, Angelino finally understood what her mother had meant all those years ago about wanting her to be something beautiful. She hadn't become beautiful through art or achievement. She'd become beautiful through love, messy, imperfect, absolutely real love. And that was worth more than all the money in the world. The end. What moment in their journey touched you most? Share your thoughts in the comments, we love hearing from you. And if you enjoyed their story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartwarming tales.